Hello, Facebook. How are you guys doing this morning? Good morning. 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We're going live here on the Facebook group as a part of our 14-day marketing challenge. If you're watching live, thank you so much. Billy, I see that you're there. You said hello. How's it going? Thank you guys for hanging out. Oh, I can hear myself on my phone. I'm playing myself here. I just turn that off. Hang on. There we go. The joys of going live. Hope that you guys are doing well. I hope that you guys are surviving through this crisis and managing through this and having some, honest conversations with your clients. I actually just finished writing up a really, really big guide for you guys. We're going to publish it on our blog. Basically, like the full, thorough. Here's how you deal with your clients through this, and I've got suggestions on how you can make up for some of the lost revenue. I've got some suggestions on how you can frame this for your clients, on different ways that you can propose ideas to your clients through all this. It's geared towards wedding photographers, but definitely the principles are just as applicable for any kind of photographer. So, anyways, I hope that you are doing well. I hope that you are that you're surviving, that you're staying sane, being locked inside, and I hope that you are staying safe and staying healthy. Thank you for spending some time with me this morning. If you're watching, hey Len, Wayne, Eric, how's it going? If you're watching the replay, thank you for taking some time to watch that. We do go live every weekday at 11 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. So if you can join us live, that's where the party's at. That's where all the fun's at. So would love to have you join us live. In the 14-day marketing challenge, we have gone through a couple of different steps in the roadmap that we made for you guys. So we spent a lot of time focusing on your website and focusing on your tone and your voice, your navigation. We talked about the UI and the UX of it. We talked about your portfolio and how to curate your images for your portfolio. We talked about where did we go from there? We talked about SEO and analytics and mouse flow and all those kinds of stuff. Kevin, what's happening? We then went and talked about your Facebook page and your Instagram page and getting all those things in good working order. So we've done a lot of really good foundational work. And now we're going to start to transition into some of the other areas, some of the other marketing things that we can do to, kick up some revenue and to grow our business here. And one of the things today, we're talking about testimonials. There is a whole world of possibility if you can use testimonials as a sales tool in your business. There are so many ways that you can use it to grow your business, and you can use testimonials as assets for other parts of your business. And so I want to spend some time on that today. And the interesting thing is I recorded a lesson on this for our Facebook ads course 2 years ago. And I was just reviewing it to sort of see what the Bryan from 2 years ago had to say about this topic. And as I was watching it, I was just thinking, this is just really good as is. Like, this is just as relevant now as it was then. There's a few things that I'll probably, jump in on and be like, yeah, hang tight on that one. Like, for example, I talk about getting together with your clients to do this. Yeah, don't do that right now. Okay. So, other than that though, the principles are just the same. And so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to play that for you so you can watch that. And then I'm going to come back and then I'm going to actually have a conversation with Karen Byker about what she's doing and how she does this. So let's go to the Bryan from 2 years ago. Now, before I do that, I have to warn you, the Bryan 2 years ago was 30 pounds lighter than the Bryan that you're looking at now. The Bryan 2 years ago had hair and didn't have a beard. So just be warned, you're about to have a bit of a shock as you go to the past Bryan. But regardless, the content is great, and so I want to share it with you because I think it's really, really great content, and there's no point in me trying to rehash out the exact same lesson. So let's transition to that. It's about 15 minutes. Let's watch that. If you have questions as it happens, please feel free. I'm still here. I'm watching it, so I'm probably going to jump in a couple times and clarify or maybe point out the areas that might be different based on today's climate. But I'm going to go over to that, and as you have questions, I'm still here. Ask questions, and then we'll come back, and then I'll go over to the interview with Karen. So let's go over to that right now. Be prepared. And we'll go. Yeah, Eric, we are doing some serious time traveling here. Absolutely. Okay, let's jump over to that, guys. Here we go. Let's talk about testimonials, or social proof, as you may have also heard testimonials being referred to as. Testimonials are a huge way to help people understand, help new people, new customers understand, and get a really good idea of the kind of offering that you can be giving, the kind of benefit that they can get from you based on reading what someone else has gotten from you in terms of a benefit. We can talk about ourselves as much as we want on our website, in our ads, in our emails, anything like that, but our customers will always know that we're going to put ourselves in the best light possible. And so people trust other people's reviews. It's why, for example, if you were looking at buying an item from Amazon, let's call it a toaster, anything like that, if you were buying a toaster from Amazon and there was the exact same toaster from one buyer versus another buyer, and the one had 100 5-star reviews and the other one had no reviews, you'd probably buy from the one that had the 100 5-star reviews. And that's because we, as human beings, as consumers, trust reviews. We trust the opinion of other people. It's what sites like Yelp are completely built on. Heck, it's even what sites like Wedding Wire are built on, or The Knot are built on. Those kinds of things are built on social proof, on testimonials, and on reviews. So suffice to say that testimonials are huge. Now, a big part of our Facebook ad strategy is going to be putting testimonials into some of our ads at various steps of the funnel to help nudge our customers and our potential customers through the path of getting in touch with us. So part of what I recommend doing now during this sort of foundational stage, as we're gathering our assets, as we're getting everything together, getting the Facebook page aligned, our Instagram profile, our website. Hey, so there we go. Really quickly about that. So in the context of that video, I'm talking about the Facebook ads course. Now, hey, if you guys want to go into the Facebook ads course, I'm happy to give you guys free access to our Facebook ads course, both the basic and the advanced. If you think it's going to be something that you'd use and that you would take advantage of during this off time right now, let us know, send us a direct message, and we're happy to hook you guys up with that course. That video is from that course. Yeah. Yeah. So Rob's just cluing in now. Yeah. So Rob, that video is from our Facebook ads course from 2 years ago. And so that is old Office, 30-pound lighter version of Bryan, much more hair on the top of my head and much less hair on the bottom of my head. So it's a bit of a culture shock to go over to that video. But anyways, regardless, if you guys would like access to that Facebook ads course for free, then let us know and we'd be happy to give you access to that. But that's what I'm talking about, the testimonials in context of is getting these things ready for running a Facebook ad funnel. So let's go back over to that. Things like that, I recommend going through and getting your testimonials gathered so that we can get ready to use those in the Facebook ad funnel that you're going to create in the next section of the course. So I want to talk a little bit about testimonials because I don't just necessarily recommend emailing a bunch of clients and saying, hey, can you give me a testimonial? That will not be effective. It will not be the right kind of testimonial, and it may not be useful for you as it relates to this Facebook ads strategy and the funnel that we're going to be creating here. So there's two steps that I want to, or two, I guess, main pillars that I want to have you think about as you're thinking about gathering these testimonials. The first one is going to be make sure that whoever it is that you're trying to get a testimonial from, you have a great photo from their photographic experience with you, because in the funnel that you're going to be creating in Facebook ads through the system we're teaching here, you're going to marry a photo with a testimonial. And so if you've got this amazing, rave review, this great testimonial from a customer, but you don't have any, really, really beautiful, outstanding images from that customer's session or wedding or whatever it was, it's not going to have the impact that you want to have, because as your audience is scrolling through their Facebook newsfeed, they're going to stumble upon a picture with a testimonial. And if the picture doesn't stop them in their tracks, they're never going to even get to read the testimonial. So make sure, step one, make sure that you have a great photo for every customer that you're trying to get a testimonial from. Step 2 is to guide your customers through giving you testimonials. I do not, again, suggest just emailing and saying, hey, can I have a testimonial? Because what you're going to find when you do that is that your customers will say things like, I loved working with Bryan. He took some great pictures that we will have forever. Yeah, great. What does that say about me? What does that say about their experience with me? What does that say about the objections that a potential customer might be having about booking me as a photographer? It doesn't really say much. It's very, very vanilla. It's very generic, and it's not really going to be helpful and useful in the Facebook ads funnel you're going to be creating here through this course. So my suggestion is to guide your customers through giving you that testimonial. And there's a very specific system that I teach and recommend in order to get that testimonial. So the first step is to think about, how are you gathering the testimonial? I do not like emails for getting testimonials because, again, it's very cold, it's very impersonal, and you can't guide the customer through giving the testimonial. So my number one recommendation is to actually do testimonials in person. Buy coffee for your customer, take them out for lunch, do anything like that to actually get in front of them and have a conversation about it and sort of... Okay, Bryan from 2 years ago, take it easy. Ladies and gentlemen watching this right now, disregard that last piece of advice from the past version of Bryan. Do not get together with your clients right now. The best option right now, based on where we're living through or the situation that we're living through, is to do something like a Skype call or a Zoom call or a Google Hangouts call or a FaceTime call. Do something obviously remotely. I actually think that's a better situation because you can record the conversation, and I talk about that in a minute here, but you record the conversation so then you can review it and chunk it up and transcribe it and so on and so forth. So do not get together with your clients right now. Disregard that piece of advice from past Bryan. We'll go back to past pre-bearded Bryan. Interview them, and that will allow you to guide them through giving you the testimonial. There's a side benefit to doing it this way. Record it. Either do it on video or do it in audio, so you can make a longer version of the testimonial. And maybe you can even string together a whole bunch of videos or of testimonials from clients and make a testimonial video that you put up on your website. I did that for years, and I got thousands of views on that video, and people, my customers, as they inquired, would always say, gosh, like, you really, like, connect with people. These people really rave about you, and they loved seeing these testimonials, this social proof from the mouths of my customers, using their words, seeing their faces and hearing their expressions. That was huge. So the benefit of you doing testimonials in person is that you can record it. So of course, get permission. Don't hide a secret camera in the corner of the room and not tell your customer. But that would be the number one way to do it. Now, if you can't do it that way, then get on the phone with your clients, right? Call them and say, hey, wanted just to ask you a few questions to understand what you were going through, and get some of your own words of what I can use in my testimonials. Now, in doing this, I mentioned the second part was to make sure that you're guiding your customers. The best way to do this is to think about that journey. Think about the customer journey. Be empathetic towards the potential customer. What are the kinds of objections that maybe they're having about hiring you as a photographer? Are they concerned about price? Are they concerned about availability? Are they concerned about whether you're going to mesh with their kids? Are they concerned about maybe the last photographer didn't give them a great experience, right? Whatever it is, think about what are some of the objections. If you were to stop 100 people on the street and say, hey, here's my portfolio, here's a wedding album, would you book me? Right? Think about that for a second. If you were to stop 100 people on the street and show them a wedding album, or show them a portrait book, or pull out an iPad and show them your portfolio, and then immediately after seeing that, if you were to say, will you book me right now? Most people will say no. Ask them why. Now, I'm not suggesting you actually go and do this, but hypothetically do this. Ask the question, well, why wouldn't you book me? Oh, well, I'm not really sure about whether I'm ready for family portraits yet. Perfect. Okay, there's an objection. Ask them why. Oh, I'm not really sure about prices. Great. Okay, there's an objection. Ask them why. And as you think about that, you're going to understand what some of the common objections are about why people might not book you as a photographer. You want to get testimonials. You want to get some social proof. You want to get some words directly from your customers' mouths that address those objections. So those objections give you the questions to ask as you're interviewing your customers to get those testimonials. So you might sit in front of a customer and say something like, "So, Mary, when you were looking at booking me as a photographer, perhaps you were interviewing a bunch of photographers, and obviously you did end up booking me. What was that like for you? Because it could be confusing and overwhelming looking at all these different photographers, all at different price points. My photography services are certainly not the most affordable. I'm not the cheapest photographer in Niagara. So tell me, why did you decide to book me at that point, even when you knew that I was more expensive than some of the other photographers you were booking?" So you ask that question to Mary, to your customer, and maybe she's going to say things like, "Yeah, I just didn't, as much as the other photographers were more affordable, I didn't feel as confident in their work, or I didn't connect with them as well, and I thought that that was worth paying more for." Or they're going to say, "The quality of your imagery was far superior to anyone else that I was able to see, and it was well worth the prices that you charge." They're going to say things like that. And again, you can kind of coach them through saying what you want to get out of them, but that's going to speak so much more to a potential customer than just saying Bryan took great pictures, right? So think about those objections and coach your customers through giving you those kinds of testimonials. Now, what I actually recommend is, because you're hopefully going to be in front of your customers, you can kind of coach and encourage them through that. You're getting all of this on video, as we mentioned, hopefully, or at least on audio. But what I recommend is, after you've done that, after you've gotten those testimonials, you're going to have, maybe 30 minutes of an interview and all these different questions that the customer has answered. I would suggest putting together, typing them out, writing them out, those quotables, right? Like, even though Bryan wasn't the most affordable, his work and the quality of the products he offered was well worth the prices he charged. Boom, start quote, end quote. There's the actual testimonial that was pulled from a long conversation. So you're going to basically write these testimonials from the interview that you did with your customers, and then send it to your client and be like, "Hey, just wanted to check. This is kind of what I extrapolated out, or maybe here's 10 things, 10 quotes that I've kind of extrapolated out of our interview. Can you sign off on these?" Right? So you kind of want to clean them up a little bit. You want to make sure that they're grammatically correct, get rid of the ums, the ahs, things like that. Use some of the wording that you want to be using. So you're kind of writing your own testimonials based off of the interview that you just did, and then send it to your customer. Make sure that they're okay to give the thumbs up, that they're okay to sign off on that testimonial. And now you have a really beautifully written testimonial that speaks to an objection, that speaks to a benefit, that is more than just, Bryan took great photos. And you can use those now in the Facebook ads system that we're going to be learning in the next lesson. So that is the process that I recommend doing for gathering testimonials. You're going to want to do that now so that we have them ready and available to use in your Facebook ads. So that is your homework for this. Now, one of the things that I suggest doing is making this a part of your workflow. So, hey, just so really quickly, present Bryan jumping in to correct past Bryan. I'm about to explain. Well, past Bryan is about to explain how you can, do this and make this a part of your regular workflow. Yes, I still encourage you to do that. I think it's very important. I think it's a good process to put in place. And in fact, it's something that I talk with Karen about in the interview that you're going to hear after this. But right now, during this marketing challenge, the most work will be getting that initial group of testimonials, that initial those initial assets. Getting those together are going to be huge for now. And then, of course, I do recommend that you put some system in place so that you can do it ongoing for all of your clients. But for now, I just want to make sure that is a big part of your focus, is getting those things built up right now, getting that asset built up right now, and then obviously on top of that, doing it on a regular basis. Back to past Bryan. you may have to go back and sort of backfill to get some testimonials. Reach out to some clients that you've got great photos for and get some feedback from them. Do this process with them. Think about anyone that has recently sent you a raving review in an email, after you sent them their photos, or like, oh my gosh, I love those photos. Go back and revisit that email and reach out and say, hey, I'm just revisiting this email and I'm redoing my website and I'm getting some new marketing material together. Would you mind if we got together? You obviously were really happy. I love this email, but I was wondering, could we just get together for a 15-minute coffee? I'd love to interview you about your experience with me and see if I can get a testimonial from you in video form. So reach out to anyone that has recently raved to you about you, do that. But then even if you don't have that, think about recency. That's probably going to be the next step that you want to go to think about who to ask for testimonials. Don't necessarily ask someone that you photographed their wedding 5 years ago. If you have to, go ahead and do it, obviously, but you want someone that has a recent memory of their experience with you so that they can say, oh yeah, when I was looking for photographers, here's what I was feeling, here's what I was thinking, here's what I was going through, and here's why I chose Bryan. So you want that to be fresh in their mind so that it comes across in the testimonial that they're going to be giving you. After you've done all this, you're going to want to make testimonial gathering a regular part of your workflow so that you don't have to do this like we're doing now in this course and go back and go through all this effort of trying to collect them and backfill your testimonials. So my suggestion is to automate it. Get these testimonials automatically as customers go through their customer journey with you. Now, my suggestion is to be mindful of when you are asking for the testimonial. If you look at the overall customer journey and what they go through with you, you want to be asking for the testimonial at a climax point, at a milestone in their customer journey where they are most happy. Don't ask them for a testimonial right after they book you. They just spent money on you, right? So don't ask them for the testimonial then, but maybe ask them for the testimonial when you deliver their wedding album to them, or when they get their prints, or after they see their photos for the first time. Like, when is there an excuse for you to ask them for a testimonial? I talk about this a lot in some of the other courses. I talk about this in the Book More Clients course. I talk about it on the podcast. I call this transition interviews. But try and think of when is a milestone in the customer journey that they are at a climax in the relationship with you, and use that as an excuse to ask them for a testimonial. My suggestion, again, is to automate this. If you're using Sprout Studio, this is something that you can build directly into your workflow, and you can say, 5 days after the shoot date, send this email, which will, say, hey, really loved our shoot 5 days ago. Wondering if I could maybe get some feedback from you or ask you a couple questions about what it was like for you and how much you enjoyed it. What were you expecting and what did you get that you weren't expecting? Just wondering if I can get some, have a quick phone call with you to do this, or if we can get together to do this. You can automate that process. I know a lot of Sprout Studio users that have those kinds of emails that are built into their workflow that automatically get attached to their leads, to their shoots as they book a customer, and they're automatically getting these testimonials. They're automatically getting this feedback. At the very least, you could build that kind of thing in and say, hey, would you mind going over to Wedding Wire and leaving a quick rating and review right now? I just photographed your wedding 7 days ago. You've gotten your teasers already. Would love it if you can leave us a quick rating and review over on Wedding Wire, or Google reviews, or wherever it is. You can automate all of that using Sprout Studio. So if you're not already using Sprout Studio, I do encourage you to do that, because you can automate those kinds of things. You can build those kinds of workloads, build those kinds of systems into your business so that you are consistent, so that you are staying on top of these things. You don't have to spend all this time like you're going to have to do now to backfill and go back and get all these testimonials for your Facebook ads system. So that is this lesson on testimonials, on gathering them. Get those things ready, get them built and ready to go, so that when you have your Facebook ads system up and going, some of those Facebook ads that we're going to be building through this Facebook ads funnel system are going to be testimonials. So get those things ready now so that they're ready for you once you build these Facebook ads.
Well, thank you, past Bryan. Over to you, future Bryan.
So what do you guys think, right? Again, it's enlightening, right, to sort of see that conversation and that lesson that I taught over 2 years ago. And it's been a system I've taught in many workshops. We've talked about many times in the podcast and many articles about. But it's a great system for collecting testimonials. And I do encourage you, right now is a great time to go and spend some time to get those things built up. Now, if you are interested in that Facebook ads course that I mentioned a number of times in that lesson, again, want to give you guys access to it for free. There is a free version of the Facebook ads course. I put the link in the comments below, so go find that link. We will also include it in the email that we send out this afternoon, a transcription of this lesson. So if you didn't grab it there, then you can go and sign up for free for that basic Facebook ads course. After you go through it, there is a next course, which is the advanced one. I want to give that to you for free. It's normally $69 US, but again, want to give it to you for free because if you tell me you're going to go through it and if you tell me that's going to help you in your business, then I want to do that for you. I want to do anything that we can to help you in your business right now through these hard times. So if you think you'll go through it, if you think you'll get something from it, if you think that you'll use it, then I would be more than happy to give that to you for free. So after you go through the free one, come on back over here. Let me know. Send me an email. Send us a message on Instagram. I'll make sure the team knows how to actually get you guys enrolled in that for free so anyone can do it. And we will enroll you in that advanced one for free as well. Okay, so it's our gift for you as a part of this series here. If you think it's going to be helpful, let us know. We want to give it to you for free. So that is the bit about testimonials. That is like sort of the lesson on how to get testimonials, how to go through them, how to collect them, how to curate them, how to write them, how to chunk them down. I do believe that there's a number of different ways you can use testimonials. You can use them on your website. Obviously, I love like pulling little quotes on your website so that, again, in that video, I talked about how to use them, and we talk about in the ads course how to use them in your ads. Ads are just one way that you can use these testimonials. You can be taking out one-liners and spreading them throughout your website. So you can put them on your portfolio page, or you can put them on your pricing page, put them on every page if you want, right? So just have them there. I am not a huge advocate of just having one page with testimonials because I think most of the time, most people will not go to that page. Even if they do, it's kind of overwhelming. So I believe it's better to be spreading them out. So spread them out throughout all of your pages. And just make sure that they're all there. Now, you can also have them on your contact page, on your thank you page. You can put them up on social media. They're great to spread out in your social media posts, even just organically. You can put them into your Facebook page. Like, there's so many different ways that you can use them. And again, like I talk about in that lesson, they're so useful because it shows what other people have to say about you versus just what you have to say about you, right? So, take advantage of that. I mean, you can include them in your email signatures. You can, a whole bunch of different ways that you can do them. And with that, I actually want to now transition to also past Bryan, but not as past Bryan. This is Bryan from like 3 days ago. So I recorded an interview that I had with Karen Byker. Now, Karen is an amazing local photographer here. She's actually our photographer, our family photographer. We go to Karen for our newborn and for our family sessions. She's a wonderful, wonderful person. I've known Karen for years. Served with her on the PPOC board back in the day. Like I've known Karen forever. She's an amazing person, has such a great spirit, has such a kind heart. She's an amazing photographer, but she is a very, very smart business person. She's an excellent entrepreneur. And so I love the way that Karen implements strategies into her business, and she's always thinking intentionally. She's always thinking purposefully, and she's always doing new things in her business to grow her business. And so as soon as we mapped out this roadmap for the marketing challenge and we arrived on the topic of testimonials, I knew without a question, I said, I need to talk to Karen about this stuff because I am a client of Karen's and I know what she does to get testimonials in her business, and I know that they work for her because I've been there as a client, and it's amazing. So I said I need to get Karen to talk about this stuff and how she does it and what she does, and so I recorded an interview with Karen that I'm now going to transition to there. So let's transition over again also to past Bryan. Now, this past Bryan has a beard because it's past Bryan from a few days ago. But let's transition over to that. And again, if you guys have questions, please throw them over. I'm still here watching, and then I will come back at the end of this to round out this whole conversation. So let's go over to that interview with Karen right now. I'm going to press record. Hi, and welcome to this interview here. I've got Karen Byker with me, and Karen, welcome here to the, I guess I can't really say live because we're recording this ahead of time, but folks are watching this live, so it's kind of live to them.
I'm still afraid to make any mistakes, just saying.
Karen, you've done an amazing job using testimonials in your business as a sort of driver for growth. I know that you do it very actively, and you're sort of gathering testimonials in all different areas. I'd love just for you to explain how you've seen in your business testimonials benefit your growth and help you get new clients and help you improve customer satisfaction, things like that. Let's walk through sort of that end goal, and then we have a couple ways that we can share with photographers as to how they can start doing these things in their business.
Absolutely. So having great testimonials is SEO, right? So every time you're posting online about your business, you're increasing that SEO factor. And having great testimonials is just another layer to that. It gives you something to write about. It lets you know what you're doing well in your business. So I would say it's good for just helping you refine things to make sure that you're on the right track with people. It also helps you figure out what you want to continue marketing. So what is it that your clients are most excited about? Talk more about that. Testimonials are great for reputation, for making sure that the people around you know what it is that you're good at and why. And it's also really great to create confident clients. So they're making that purchase decision. They're saying yes because of what they're reading about you, all the positive things they're reading. But I find it's also really good because during shoots, they allow me to just take control and do my thing and be creative because they have the confidence in knowing that I'm a...
You just roboted again there. That's okay. This is the joys of doing this stuff over the internet.
Oh man,
it's all good. Would you say, Karen, like I'm of the opinion, and I've always been a proponent of the idea that no matter how a client finds us, right? If they're finding us on social, if they're finding us through some physical means, if you do trade shows, or if you do display advertising or partnerships, or if you do yellow pages, I don't even know if yellow pages are a thing anymore, but if you do, no matter what kind of advertising or marketing that you do today, would you agree, or have you found that no matter what, they're going to Google you? Like they're going to try and find you online, which obviously would bring them A, to your website, but B, that's where they're going to start to see those testimonials because Google actually pushes up your Google business listing as soon as someone searches for you. Have you found that to be true for you?
A lot of my clients are finding me on Google, and a lot of my clients are comfortable coming to see me even if they haven't had another person that works with me. So in the newborn photography industry, I find referrals are really important for people because they want to make sure that they're going to a safe environment. They just want to make sure they're finding someone that they know, like, and trust. But when you have a really good amount of Google reviews, you're able to do that without having been introduced by another person.
Yeah, I love it. Okay. So, so we understand the benefit, the value of using Google or using reviews in general. I mean, I keep saying Google. I'm assuming Google is one of the main drivers that you've used. But
Yeah.
let's now talk about what can photographers do today amidst this, self-quarantining, amidst this chaos that's happening. They're looking to grow their business or to do something to generate more referrals or to generate some revenue. Obviously, you've got some tips of what you do on a day-to-day basis. Now that you're very, very dedicated in how you actually go about getting your reviews, and I'd love to talk about that. Once this is all over, and if photographers want to incorporate those strategies into their day-to-day business. But what are some of the things that you might recommend to a photographer that's sitting at home right now watching us, and they're looking to generate some revenue, and they want to use testimonials as a driver for that?
So are you asking how to use them?
Yeah,
specifically?
I guess more like, so right now, if a photographer sees the value in testimonials, I guess, yeah, maybe we can go in a bit further into how you can use them beyond just having them sit there. But then I'd love to hear sort of, or talk about some ideas of how a photographer can get them in the first place.
Okay, so we'll talk about what to do with them and
Yeah,
then how to get them.
love it.
Cool. All right, so what I mentioned before when we first started talking about using the information that you get to better your business, that is huge. It also tells you what it is that you need to focus on, figuring out your why and how you're reaching people and what they really want to see more from you and what made them feel really good. Talk more about that. Use that in your marketing. So maybe you're just finding one common theme among all the testimonials you've received. Now you know that that's a really big deal to clients, and you know that's what you need to talk about. So that's a big one. When it comes to using the testimonials, there's a variety of places you can use them. We'll talk more about that. I'm just kind of looking through my notes to see the answer to your question. So let's see, use the info that they say to better your business. Not really sure how.
Talk to me about like your website and stuff too, Karen, because I know that you've kind of scattered them throughout your website. Talk to me about like your thought process, I guess, behind doing that, because I would guess that like that really helps potential clients as they're kind of going through your website. That helps them a lot, I would think, right? And like seeing all these testimonials and feeling better about you, and it just gives them that confidence.
Well, that's exactly it. They don't need to necessarily even talk to me on the phone. Sometimes clients will just book me. They already know that they want me, right?
Hmm.
But yeah, definitely. Having testimonials is a way to build that know, like, and trust factor without having to meet someone face to face. And especially with what's going on, everything with the coronavirus, somebody might be due 9 months from now and they want to find a newborn photographer that's reputable, that's going to be around. Then that would be a great way to find someone.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Okay, so right now, if a photographer wants to implement a strategy to go and collect these, maybe they haven't been as dedicated as you've been or some other photographers have been in getting these. How can a photographer spend some time right now during this downtime to go and collect these kinds of things?
So this is basically what I've learned over the course of being in business for 15 years. The first thing that you want to do is you want to create a Google My Business account. So if you haven't done that yet, definitely take that step today. Create a Google My Business account. It's totally free. It's pretty easy to do. Then you'll have a place right in there where people can leave reviews for your business very easily. You can get a link to it, easy peasy. If you haven't given your clients great experiences in the past, they're not going to want to give you a Google review. So think about clients that you have really like had an awesome experience with. You know that you have kind of blown their mind, and it's okay to reach out to those clients that you've served in the past and ask them for that review now. But typically, what I do is I actually ask them for a review process. I found the best time to ask is the day after the session itself, when the excitement is high. So the day after the shoot, I actually have it set into Sprout Studio as part of my shoot workflow to send them that review email 24 hours after the session itself. Because at that point, they're thinking what a great time they had yesterday, but they're also thinking Karen's diving in to edit my session really soon. I'm excited to see what she's going to come up with. Like there's so many thoughts in their mind, so it kind of becomes a little bit reciprocal because they're like, I want to write this great review for Karen. She's going to show me all these great photos. So there's kind of that extra layer, which is really helpful. So yeah, I make it part of my Sprout workflow, so it's easy peasy. I don't even have to think about it. Then the email that I sent to them 24 hours later, the title is, "Can you do me a quick favor?" And basically what it does is it tells them time to shoot. Your review would really help others know what to expect when they work with me in the future. Would it be okay if I sent you a link for review? You're not actually sending them the link yet. You're just asking them for if it's okay to send them the link. And then what you're trying to do is get that yes. So all they have to do is reply with, yes, So easy. People generally do what they say they're going to do. So if they reply with yes, they're most likely going to move forward and actually take that next step with you. Not everybody does, but most people do. So in the second email, after I get that yes, I go in and I actually send that manually. So I'll say, thank you so much for agreeing to review me online. Because again, that's just saying, you said that you would do this, so here's the next step in doing so, right? And then you say, if you're struggling with what to say, here are 2 questions you can answer. So the first one I ask is, how did you feel before coming in for your photo session? Really, really easy. 2 questions that they're very open-ended, so they can go anywhere with that, but it gives them a good starting point.
Karen,
And then you can say,
sorry, just really quickly, you cut. I don't know if you said the second question. You cut out right after you said the first one. You said, "How did you feel before your session?" Did you say the second question yet, or no? I lost you for a minute.
Yep. And then I said, and how did you feel after?
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
So like I said, they're open-ended, but they leave room for people or clients to really dive into whatever meant the most to them about the experience, which gives you a lot of guidance as a business owner. Then you just say, here's a link to my testimonial page if you're looking for examples, because that makes it so easy for people to understand what it is that you're looking for. Mm-hmm. And then you say, Google reviews help my business the most. Here's a link to do that right here. Or if you'd prefer Facebook, here's a link. This is kind of something that I do with kids on a daily basis. I'm like saying, okay, you can either choose this option or this option, both of which I'm okay with.
Right.
But obviously, Google reviews help my business the most, so that's what I would, prefer.
Right.
So that's my second email, and that process has worked out really, really well for me here in Niagara. Yeah.
I love it. I think that's great. And I think what's so important is that like you've got it built into a Sprout workflow. Obviously, for Sprout users, that's great. If you're not a Sprout user, it's okay. This isn't about Sprout. Just in some way, I think the point that Karen's making is like make it a part of your workflow, right? So like always do it every time, and that's how you're going to build up this really nice database and this really nice sort of backlog of reviews. Is if you do this every single time, then you're going to have that. Whereas I've seen it where some photographers, they'll listen to this and then they'll do it like right now for 5 clients, but then they won't have anything new for another 2 years because they kind of they dove into it deep now and then they forgot about it. But if you can just make it a part of your workflow to just always do that at the time that you think is most appropriate, that's how you get that sort of nest egg built up like that.
Yeah, I say the secret to great client testimonials is to ask at the right time and to create like a simple, repeatable system that works.
Yeah, I love it. So Karen, for photographers that are watching this and they want help, they want answers now, implementing this into their day-to-day or their week-to-week workflow is great into their normal client experience. What kind of tactics or ideas or strategies might you say if like someone doesn't have these right now and they want to get a nice chunk of testimonials? What might you recommend? Do you have any like specific ideas for them?
Mm-hmm. So blog this. Something that I do with my clients is if I haven't received a review, but they did say yes in the beginning, when I asked that from email number 1, I will reach out to them before I post their blog post and just say, I've created a heartfelt blog post. I've added, all this. I'll tell them a little bit more about what I've added to it. And then I'll just say, I would love to add your testimonial to the end of it, like I do for all my clients. Would it be okay if, or no, I don't even ask for the link. Sorry. So this time I actually send the link again. I don't ask them if I can send them the link. I just put the link right in there because they've already said yes before. So that's a great way to kind of reach out to past clients. So make sure that you've got this spare time on your hands right now. Spend some time blogging. Go back to those sessions and reach out to those clients. Make them feel good about themselves, compliment them, and then ask them if they would contribute something to that blog article. I think that's a really good way of doing it. Also, right now people have time on their hands. They want to figure out what they can do to help others. That's where I am at anyway. So what you can do is you can post online just saying, it's a great time to help out small business. Here's 4 ways you can do it. And I actually saw a post online yesterday that said, to help small businesses right now, you can order gift cards, you can shop online, you can postpone instead of canceling, or you can leave a review. Those are 4 things that people around us can do immediately to support our small businesses. And then maybe part of that post could be, if you've worked with me recently, send me a quick DM, and if I'll send you a link to do a Google review. I would appreciate that so much.
Yeah, that's huge. And it's interesting because to chime in on that idea, right now photographers, and part of this roadmap and this challenge that we're building out with photographers is, let's take a look at your web presence. Let's take a look at the way that you're communicating to clients. Let's take a look at your social presence. And now obviously we're getting into testimonials, and that's huge, because if you're already focusing on updating and curating your portfolio on your website, and you're now gathering up, the best 10 sessions from the last year and updating your website, why not take each of those sessions, email those clients and say, hey, I'm updating my portfolio on my website. I'm going to be writing a blog post. I'd love to have some sort of feedback from you on what that session was like to go along with the portfolio. And that way it even gives the images more context too, right? And
It
that's
does.
why I love what you do, Karen, with blogging. It's more than just, I photographed a really cute baby. Here's the 20 pictures. Like you write, you commit yourself to it. You show personality. You show the client's story. You make it about them, and I think it's so much more engaging. Having been there as a client of yours, you photographed how many sessions for us and my family. I know what it's like to have that. Oh my gosh, we're featured on the blog. That is so neat. And like you write these like really beautiful stories, and it feels special as the client. And so why wouldn't they want to contribute to that, if it meant helping you out, but also making that story more wholesome?
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you're also kind of giving them something that they can share with others, which then markets your business, which is huge. So,
I
but
love
there's a
it.
lot of different things that you can do with the testimonials, right? Like you can use them in Facebook ads, you can use them on all the pages of your website. I actually have them in the footer of my signature. So it says, Karen, blah, 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 where I work, what I do, why. And then it says, check out our Google reviews. And with like 5, what I really like about my signature is I've used emoticons to put the 5 yellow stars.
Mm.
And then I have the link to the Google reviews after that, because it really draws the attention down. And now that I've gotten over 70 Google reviews, it feels like there's actually something substantial when they visit my Google My Business page.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing too, is on the Google business page, and this is also true when you just search for somebody on Google. The more like with all that stuff, recency is really really important. Like it's important to have. It's great if you have 100 reviews, but if the last one was 3 years ago, it doesn't look great. Whereas even
Right.
if you have 10 reviews, but the last one was yesterday, that looks a lot better in my opinion. So that's why I think right now photographers in this space have a great opportunity to use these as a driver, because if you get a handful of these, 5, 10, 15, 20, I mean, go crazy with it if you want, but they're all going to be recent, which is going to show well both to Google from a technical standpoint. They're going to be more likely to push your stuff up because you're recent, but also to new clients that are coming in to look at your stuff. They're like, oh wow, like he just got one like this morning. That's amazing. Obviously he's or she's an active photographer. They're doing good things and they've got really happy clients, and it just increases that confidence level for your clients.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's okay to also reach out to people that you've served in the past if you can remember positive things that they said to you verbally. So one thing you can do is like, okay, say somebody came 6 months ago and I remember them talking to me about how clean the studio was, but they never sent in a testimonial. I could reach out and kind of paraphrase what they said to me and just say, hey, I remember when you were here, you said something just like this. Would it be okay if I used that as a testimonial on my website? And all they have to do is reply with yes. It might not be in Google yet, but you can
Right.
still use that as a testimonial on your website. Also, another step, if they reply with yes, you could just say, that's awesome. That makes me so happy. Hey, I'd love it if you would post this in or paste this into Google. Google so yeah, something else they can do to help out small business.
I love it. I love it. Karen, thank you so much for coming on to kind of chat with us and share some ideas. Wishing you and your business and your family all the very best with everything, and hopefully, this was helpful for photographers that are watching. And we're gonna have a whole bunch of stuff before and after this. So if you're watching this right now, don't hang up or press the end button, because the live Bryan is coming back on in just a few minutes. Thank you, Karen, for
You're
coming
welcome.
on. Hey, and here's the live Bryan. You guys are still here. Oh my goodness. Okay, first of all, isn't Karen amazing? Right? She is. I love talking with Karen. She's such a wonderful soul. She's such a kind person. I love her as a photographer. I love her as a person. I love her as an entrepreneur. So I hope that you guys enjoyed that conversation, and I hope that in the last hour, we are going live now for 57 minutes. You guys are insane for still being here, but thank you for still being here. I'm gonna wrap this whole thing up because I don't want to push over an hour here. One of the Drew on our team, some of you guys have met Drew. He has to go back and transcribe this entire thing. So I wish him all the very best in transcribing this. And if you've been taking notes, amazing. But if you haven't been taking notes, keep an eye out in your inbox this afternoon, because this afternoon and every afternoon while we're in this marketing challenge, we are sending a summary of these videos with a checklist. So I guess also to Carly, who is on our team, also makes a full checklist and pretty graphics and all kinds of cool things from this. So Drew and Carly, I wish you guys all the very best for this video. Again, if you're not signed up to get those emails, come over to getsproutstudio.com/firstaid. That's the link right there. Go there, put in your email, and every morning we'll email you the link to this live broadcast, and every afternoon we'll email you a summary, as well as a PDF checklist of things that you can do from that day. So trying to keep you guys held accountable, trying to make sure that you have everything you need so that there's no reason to not implement these things that we're talking about in this challenge. And if you do happen to miss the live, it's okay. These are available for replay here in the Facebook group. They're also available for replay on our YouTube channel. We email the link to both of those every afternoon. So even if you can't make the 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time broadcast time, you can always go back and watch the replay. So I'm going to wrap it up. I got 20 seconds before we hit an hour. So thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow in the next broadcast. Bye.